Monster Hunter Wilds is releasing in just a couple of days and is going to be one of the biggest releases of 2025, bookending a very busy month for video games in terms of big releases. So I thought I'd gather all the details you need to know before playing Monster Hunter Wilds. So here's everything you need to know before playing Monster Hunter Wilds. As I mentioned, the game is coming out in a couple of days. It will be coming out on February 28th for PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and Steam. The game is also PS5 Pro enhanced, so if you have a PS5 Pro, you'll have a few extra benefits when it comes to running the game. Capcom recently put out the release times for the game, as you can see here. For Australia, it will be between 3 PM and 4 PM on the 28th, 6 AM Central European Time, 5 AM British Standard Time, and 12 AM Eastern Standard Time. And then the outlier being 9 PM Pacific Standard Time on the 27th of February. All of these times are for PC. For console, it will be released at midnight no matter the region, unless you are in the west coast of United States. Then it will be 9 PM Pacific Standard Time on the 27th again. I'm going to be playing the game on PS5, so I'm very keen to get started as soon as possible on the 28th of February. There are different editions you can get of the game. You have Standard, Steelbook, Deluxe, and Premium Deluxe. Standard is obviously just the game. You get nothing extra. The Steelbook is just you get the Steelbook case for the game if you're getting it physically. And then you have Deluxe and Premium Deluxe. In the digital only Deluxe edition, you'll be getting the Deluxe pack, which comes with Hunter Layered Armor Set, Feudal Soldier, Fencer's Eye Patch, Oni Horn's Wig, a decoration for your mount with the Soldier's Comparison and General's Comparison, Feline Layered Armor Set with the Feline Ashigaru, a pendant, a couple different gestures, hairstyles, makeup and face paint, as well as a sticker set and a nameplate frame. For the digital Premium Deluxe edition, you'll be getting all of that plus the 2 cosmetics packs that are coming out for the game, which are planned to release later in the year. And you'll get premium bonus content, which is a hunter profile set, some wyvern ears, and a song. There is also a pre-order bonus. If you pre-order the game, you'll get the Guild Knight armor set with the Hope Charm talisman. Personally, I think the deluxe editions aren't really worth it unless you're really into these cosmetics that you'll be getting, or just want to support Monster Hunter by paying a bit extra. But in my personal opinion, I'm just going to stick with the standard edition, but to each their own. Now onto the game itself. The monsters we know so far that are in Monster Hunter Wilds are the White Wraith, which is also known as the Arkfeld, which is the main monster for this game, although no doubt there will be something stronger like in previous Monster Hunter games where the monster on the cover art is a mid-game boss and then there's way stronger monsters later on. No doubt Monster Hunter Wilds will have something similar. You also have the Jindahad, the Hirabami, the New Udra, the Rompopolo, the Ajarakan, Uthduna, Lullabarina, Raydal, Balahara, Kumatrice, Doshakuma, and the Chatakabra. Those are all the new monsters that we know so far will be in Monster Hunter Wilds. However, there are some returning monsters, obviously, like the Gore Magala, Narsilla, Blangonga, Gravios, Rathian, Gongalala, the Gypsaros, and the Yarn Kutku. Apologies if I butchered some of those pronunciations. I hate pronouncing the monsters in this game. Obviously, there will be loads more monsters in Monster Hunter Wilds. They've already teased a monster that will come in a free title update after release, so I can't wait to experience them all, collect all their weapons and armors, etc. In Monster Hunter Wilds, there will be 14 weapon types. You'll have the Great Sword, the Long Sword, Sword and Shield, Dual Blades, Hammer, Hunting Horn, Lance, Gun Lance, Switch Axe, Charge Blade, Insect Glaive, Light Bowgun, Heavy Bowgun, and the Bow. There are no new weapon types this time around. Apparently it's quite hard to make a new weapon type, and with 14 already in the games, I feel like there's enough here to cover everyone's different playstyles. We will also have a different mount this time around with the Sacred. During the open betas, this thing was a lot of fun to try out and really helpful, so can't wait to see what else we can do with this mount in the different areas and such. This thing far expands upon the mount we had in Rise, so very keen to use this some more in the full release. Focus mode is also a new feature which allows you to aim your attacks and guard abilities. It can also help pinpoint monster weaknesses, which can be targeted with special new attacks that will deal big damage. This seems like a great feature to introduce new players, but also a great help for those of us who are long-time Monster Hunter fans. I'm sure the veterans of Monster Hunter will enjoy this feature, even if it does make some things a bit easier in a way. I don't think it really harms the difficulty of the overall game. You also have wounds now on monsters. Attacking the same part of a monster repeatedly will cause a wound to open. Attacks that hit wounds will deal a large amount of damage. If you hit the wound enough, it will destroy the wound, dealing even more damage. focus mode highlights these wounds and weak points as well, and you'll be able to use those powerful focus strikes to deal a lot of damage on said wounds. There seems to be a big focus on this. God damn it. And again, I don't think it really affects the difficulty of the game. Some reviewers so far have said that Monster Hunter Wilds is pretty easy compared to other games in the series. But as we all know, the main game acts as almost like a tutorial for what is the meat of a Monster Hunter game, which is its end game. So hopefully the end game is tough enough, especially with all these new features to help new players. And speaking of new features to help players, support hunters are now a thing. These will automatically join your hunting party if a certain amount of time passes after using an SOS flare and enough players cannot be found. These are basically just bots that will come help you and act as players you would normally find in the multiplayer. These guys can be turned off, however, if you don't want AI to come help you after using an SOS flare, but it's an option for those that don't really want to dip into the online multiplayer but still want to have assistance from other hunters. And obviously with the new Monster Hunter game comes a new area. This time Wilds will take place in the Forbidden Lands. The world will have a living, breathing ecosystem with weather changes, more realistic monster behaviors, and more. There will be 2 distinct seasons in the environments found in the game. You have the fallow, which is a period where hungry predators roam the land for food. This is followed by an ecology altering inclemency. This is the transitional period between the 2 seasons, which leads to a rich period of plenty. The same location may look completely different depending on the 2 seasons. Each environment is inhabited by its own apex predator, which will appear during the area's inclemency. So for example, the Windward Plains has the Ray Dow as its apex predator. At least that's how it was in the open beta. And this leans into the seamlessness that seems to be a huge part of Monster Hunter Wilds. Playing the beta and hearing everyone talk about what the full release of the game is going to be like, it seems like everything is very seamless in Wilds as opposed to other games. With its various weather changes, the day-night cycle, a bit more openness to the various environments, Monster Hunter Wilds seems like it's going to be a very immersive Monster Hunter game, which I'm very keen for. In previous Monster Hunter games, you would see smaller monsters move in herds. Well, now the big monsters will also have their own herds and packs depending on the monster type. The Doshakuma, for example, have packs and an alpha. So in the open beta, when we experienced this, there were up to 3 Doshakuma, with 1 being the alpha, which is the main monster you're meant to hunt. If you take out the alpha, the rest of the pack will sort of disperse, or at least be a lot weaker. I think this kind of mechanic is going to work great for groups of hunters. If you're playing with friends, hunting a pack is probably going to feel more gratifying than hunting just a singular monster. And then we have the different areas of the game. We have the Windward Plains, which we experienced in the open beta, the Scarlet Forest, the Oil Well Basin, and the Ice Shard Cliffs. No doubt there will be other areas that are added to the game later on, but it's really cool to see such different landscapes and environments. Monster Hunter has always been good at this with its variety in landscapes, and this time is no different. No area feels or looks the same, which is going to make for some great hunting and also be great for the variety in the monsters. There is also a big focus this time around on the game's story. Monster Hunter games in the past haven't really had the grandest storylines. They've more been there to facilitate the main meat of the game, which is the hunting of the monsters and getting to that all-important endgame. Whereas this time, there appears to be more of a focus on the story with the Forbidden Lands, finding out that this area is actually inhabited, because previously we thought that the Forbidden Lands were uninhabitable, and then there's the whole mystery surrounding the White Wraith. So very interested to see how in-depth the story of Monster Hunter Wilds is this time around. Personally, I don't play these games for its story content, but I'm interested to see how in-depth it is and whether it's a worthwhile story to follow. And with that focus on the story and the fact that we're exploring this area for the first time, instead of a central hub like in previous Monster Hunter games, because we don't have an established base here already, there will be different base camps for the different areas of the game. But all the usual stuff will be found in these base camps. But like I said, instead of having that central location, it will be up to 4 or more different base camps in the different areas of the game. And then we can also put up these pop-up camps, but be very careful where you put these, because depending on the environmental dangers or the monster dangers, these camps can be destroyed and you can lose resources. Now obviously I mentioned the 14 weapon types, but you can actually equip 2 weapon types at any given time. So if you're going to come across multiple monsters, say in the environment, one that is more susceptible to slashing damage and the other is more susceptible to blunt damage, you could bring a longsword and a hammer and be prepared for both situations. Obviously, there are also different body parts that will be susceptible to different damage types, so having multiple weapon sets on you and having different combos attached to having multiple weapon sets will be an interesting new challenge for new and old players. And that's pretty much everything you need to know about Monster Hunter Wilds. Obviously, this game is full of different systems and features, so if I missed anything, let me know in the comments down below and let me know what you're most excited for in Monster Hunter Wilds. Is it the new monsters? Is it the new areas? Let me know in the comments down below. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe for more Monster Hunter Wilds content. We're going to be doing a lot more videos on this game as it releases. Become a member today if you want to support me in another way. You get early access videos and live streams. And thank you so much for watching this, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!